Greetings, sisters and brothers. Welcome to this day's devotional. It is Psalm 64. The psalmist writes, "Hear my voice, O God, in my complaint. Preserve my life from the dread enemy. Hide me from the secret plots of the wicked, from the scheming of evildoers who whet their tongues like swords, who aim bitter words like arrows. Shooting from ambush at the blameless, they shoot suddenly and without fear. They hold fast to their evil purpose. They talk of lying snares secretly, thinking, who can see us? Who can search out our crimes? We have thought out a cunningly conceived plot. For the human heart and mind are deep, but God will shoot his arrow at them. They will be wounded suddenly. Because of their tongue he will bring them to ruin. All who see them will shake with horror, and everyone will fear. They will tell what God has brought about and ponder what he has done. Let the righteous rejoice in the Lord and take refuge in him. Let all the upright in heart glory." So we have another psalm where it is a psalm basically of petition, where the psalmist is crying out to God for help and for judgment and justice against an enemy or enemies that are, once again, shooting flaming arrows or attacking the one who has written this psalm. Obviously, a very common theme in the Psalms. If you've been with us for most, if not all of these Psalms, you know that that's a common refrain from the psalmist of crying out to God in times of trouble, which is something that we should all be encouraged to do because it matters to God and he cares about what's happening in our life. But one of the most significant unanswered questions we have as believers, and certainly as those who are not believers, is why God allows bad things to happen to people, good people or otherwise. Why God allows evil in this world to persist and to exist. And then, sadly, I nor anybody else have the answer to that question. It is a great mystery of the faith and a great mystery of the ways of God that evil still continues in this world, and a God who loves all of us has certainly the power to prevent that from happening, but God is sovereign, he's in control, and it's far beyond us to be able to understand how God thinks or why God allows such things to happen. But that also isn't the only side of the coin. God blesses us abundantly, much more so than probably we have to deal with the trials in this life. But trials will come, whether they are just by chance or whether they are coming from people who are responsible for attacking or responsible for the trials that we face. And though God doesn't prevent those things from happening, sometimes he will take them away, but quite often they play themselves out in their own time, it seems. But what God does promise us is to help us get through those trials. He doesn't prevent the storm, but he helps us to navigate through the storm by being the God that he is, to someone who is trustworthy, someone we can count on, someone who in the end has secured our salvation solely by his own effort and by his own authority and by his own sacrifice. And there is strength in that. There is strength in the bigger picture of what is to come. There's also the understanding that they're all temporary. Trials are temporary, even if they last a lifetime for us. The earthly life is temporary and a vapor and a mist compared to what waits for us in eternity, where there are no trials, where there's nothing for us to face. There's no tears, there's no weeping, there's nothing like that in the great eternity of heaven. But like I said, God does provide us a way out, provide us with the strength and the hope because of those things and many other things that to help us to get through the trials. And there's also this idea of justice, as the psalmist cries out for the wicked to be judged and for judgment to come their way. Eventually it will come for all of us. For those of us who are believers, our judgment will be much different than those who have denied God and denied Christ as the Savior. And we are forgiven for the wrongs that we have committed, and we can be thankful for that because we've certainly done that to other people and caused trials in other people's lives. We're not completely innocent in those things. And those who have caused trials in our lives can be forgiven as well. But for those who don't believe, regardless of the things that they have done, they will face a holy God and have to answer for their actions and the way that they live their lives. And that's something that the psalmist counts on, and it's something that brings some level of comfort for the psalmist, though I'm certain that God is not pleased to judge anyone. So, I mean, the truth is, we will all face trials. You might be in the midst of something right now, and you might cry out to God and ask, why has He allowed this? Why won't He take it away? And even crying out to ask Him to take it away. And those are all helpful things for us in the midst of trials, to remember who God is. To remember there's also purpose in trials, that it does build character for us. And though it doesn't seem, that's certainly not helpful in the midst of a trial. When we come through those things, we become stronger and oftentimes more connected to our faith and to our God. And so that when next trial and the next trial and the next trial come, we are better equipped and stronger and more able to deal with those things. So that's our devotion for today. Stay strong. Know that God is with you regardless of what's going on in your life. And He will help you get through whatever it is that you face now or will face in the future. So until tomorrow, Psalm 65, I hope and pray that you are well.